Congratulations! おめでとうございます. If you're here, you're probably starting out with learning Japanese. It is one of the best decisions you can make for your life. 日本語を勉強するときっと人生が変わります. Your life will change once you learn Japanese. It opens so many doors and you're going to be glad that you started today. Let's get straight into a guide that can help you learn Japanese from scratch. Everything you need to know to get started. Disclaimer, everyone has a different approach to learning languages. If you watch a bunch of other videos on YouTube about how to learn Japanese,
everyone will say something different. Try it out and see what works for you. This is what works for me, and this is what I would recommend to you to try.
I'm going to recommend what you should do in your first month, second month, and third month of just starting out with Japanese. This should set you on a good path to go forward with adjusting the method to what works for you. じゃあ、一番最初に何をしますか? What do you do right at the beginning? Your plan for the first month is to focus on learning hiragana and katakana. These are the two basic alphabets. Of course, there is still kanji, which are Chinese characters used in Japanese. Don't worry about that for now. My recommendation is to start with learning how to read and write all hiragana and katakana characters. This is because if you rely on romaji, which is the Latin transliteration of Japanese sounds, you may learn a bit of an inaccurate pronunciation. Focus on hearing the natural native Japanese sound of every character. You'll start with a, I, u, e, o, kaki, kuke, ko, etc. It's very simple. It can take you a few days. It can take you like a few hours to learn it, but you'll need repetition and practice. What I found really works for me with learning hiragana and katakana is to practice writing them out. You make a nice connection with your hand, your brain, the paper, and the character if you write it out. There are so many resources on how to learn hiragana and katakana. You can also look at some resources on my website, lindiebuetis.com/Japanese-resources. That's everything that I recommend. If you want, while you are learning hiragana and katakana, you can start with learning the basic greetings. How to say hello, thank you, what's your name, where are you from, my name is this. Take however long you need, a week or two, to really solidify learning the alphabet. And then the most important thing that you want to start doing is use the hiragana and katakana characters to write basic words. For example, if you've learned a, I, u, e, o, you can write the word aoi, which means blue, or au, which means to meet. It's a little hack. You're doing 2 in 1. You're solidifying how to read and write this character, and you're learning a vocabulary word and boosting your vocabulary knowledge from your first, second, third week of learning Japanese. Then you want to spend the next half of your first month to focus on the basic greetings and to start writing very basic sentences. This is what's really going to set you apart from most Japanese learners who are slowly following a textbook or a class and stretching out this beginner part. I want to encourage you and challenge you that there is so much that you can do within a month to start even making basic sentences. What you want to do is take 2 or 3 of the most basic verbs. So let's take, for example, taberu, which is to eat. Very basic. Look up some charts or use a book where it'll show you how to do the basic conjugation of taberu, tabemasu, I eat, you eat, he eats, whatever, tabemashita, if you want to go to past tense. Then you want to learn pronouns. Don't worry about too many pronouns now. There are a lot in Japanese. Just do watashi for now, which is I. And then learn the basic particles. And then help yourself with learning some relevant basic nouns. You can even ask ChatGPT to create a list for you. Hey, give me 10 really easy beginner nouns in Japanese and give me example sentences of how to use these nouns with the verb taberu, to eat. At this point, after you've learned how to read and write, you can start making sentences like 私はご飯を食べます. I am eating food. 私はラーメンを食べます. I'm eating ラーメン。なんだっけ、寿司、私個人的に寿司食べられないんですけど、you could make a sentence like 寿司を食べません if you've learned the negative form. 食べます to eat, 食べません to not eat. 私は寿司を食べません. I do not eat sushi. See, you've already learned something. And if you can write that in katakana, and if you can write that in hiragana, fantastic. Look at you. You're writing, you're making a sentence. You've learned a noun, a verb, a sentence structure, and a particle. Now, month number 2. This is where you want to really increase the amount of verbs that you're learning, the amount of nouns, the top 10 most common verbs, top 100 most common nouns, basic adjectives, and you want to continue this activity of creating sentences. And even at this point, I would recommend getting a lot of input. You want to be hearing Japanese every day. You want to be watching it, listening to it, engaging with it, seeing it. Yes, you are not fluent yet. It will be difficult, but you want to train your ear to hear as much Japanese as possible because this is going to help you pronounce it better and sound more natural over time. So how can you start watching content if you don't really speak Japanese yet? Well, there's a really awesome app that I've been using for years, and I would highly recommend it to you. It's called Lingopie. Lingopie is basically like the Netflix for language learning. You can select Japanese on there, but there's also a ton of other languages that you can try. On Lingopie, there are dual language subtitles, so you can watch something in Japanese and get the Japanese transcription plus the English translation. If there's a word you don't know, you simply hover over it, it'll tell you the meaning, and you can save it to your collection. Lingopie will build flashcards for you to test you after you've watched an episode or a movie or whatever, and there are amazing tools that have been built in for your review. You can browse music, the TV catalog, you can add things to your library. It's super customizable. Lingopie is an awesome place to start engaging with Japanese content, plus having the added benefit of it being able to save words for you, give you a transcription, and give you review activities. And then, of course, producing the language as early as you can is so important. So on Lingopie, there's an interactive feature called Say It, where you can practice your pronunciation and get feedback on it. これから打ち合わせなんだよね。ところで何？これから打ち合わせなんだよね。これから打ち合わせなんだよね。ところ何？ところ何？So check the link in the description for an exclusive discount code. Head to Lingopie today and learn Japanese. And then month 3, and this is going to be controversial. Start speaking, start producing, start writing. I know. There are 2 schools of thought on this. It's particularly for Japanese online, it's very divided. There are people who are like, no. You need like 10,000 hours of listening before you even say a word. Those people, I've seen videos of them where they're like, actually, when I did want to start speaking, I had a hard time. I could understand everything, but kotoba ga dete konai, like the words just didn't come out. Whereas there are other people like me who are of the mening, what's mening in English? It's Afrikaans, of the opinion that speak as soon as you can. Why? Because for me personally, the reason I learn any language is to communicate. And it doesn't matter if I'm sucking at communicating, at least I'm trying and I'm gonna improve and learn over time. I would rather start speaking now and have someone correct me than wait until I'm perfect and then not even have the exposure or the practice to being in a speaking situation.
広島から先がストップしてるんですね。
そうなんですか。昨日広島から来たんですけど、ギリギリ。
よかった。
タイ語安いと思う？
タイ語安い。まあ僕が行った時安かった。
そう？私にとってめっちゃ難しかった。
You can find a tutor or a language exchange partner and just say, hey, I'm super beginner, but can I practice some sentences with you? You may be asking, should I get a tutor or not? I have quite a few videos on my channel talking about what are the benefits of a tutor, should you get one, when, etc. So check those out. But my recommendation is think about what is your learning style. Are you disciplined and motivated to be able to do it yourself? Do you have experience in teaching languages to yourself? And do you have resources that can help you? If not, if you're feeling like, oh, this is a bit of a challenge, or I really need somebody to be there and help me through it, then you can get a tutor. Personally, I prefer having a tutor when I'm at a conversational stage. Whether it's beginner conversation or advanced, I find that I can teach myself using resources, online apps, textbooks, etc., but I can't really have a conversation with myself. I need that feedback and input. So I pay for a tutor to talk to them, or I find a language friend or a partner to talk to. So how can I talk to someone about something I like? Okay, I love books. Do I know how to say I like books in that language? Let me say that to them and hear what they repeat. There's all kinds of creative ways that you can start speaking with basic sentences. That does not mean that month 3 is just speak, produce. It's just, let's take the skills that we've learned from month 1 and month 2 of reading, writing, listening, and put it into some form of output. If you are not comfortable or ready to speak, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not behind schedule. This is just a guideline and a recommendation. If you want to give yourself more time and be like, you know what, I don't actually want to talk to people. I just want to read books or watch anime, whatever. That's fine. Continue doing with what you want. Month 3 is where you can start saying, where do I envision this language learning journey going? Don't feel like you have to know everything that you see or hear or read in month 3. It's so early in your journey. What I want to encourage you is just have a taste of what it feels like to produce the language in month 3. For you, that could look like writing 1 sentence a day on a piece of paper or in a journal. It could be just what you've learned that week. It could be something so basic. テレビを見ます. I'm watching TV. You can write that down. Next day, you do it a bit more longer or complicated. 友達とテレビを見ます. I'm watching TV with my friend. The next day, let's think about past tense. テレビを見ました. I watched TV. And you build this on. The most important thing is that you're producing and using what you've been learning the past 2 months. My sentence examples there were so basic. And yes, that's something that you can produce by month 3. I strongly believe that this is possible. But now you might be thinking, is this really going to take, 3 months for me to start producing super basic sentences? Yes and no. There are people who can only dedicate 1 or 2 hours to learning Japanese a week. That's okay. Accept it and say, this is my busy lifestyle. I'm okay with that. Let me take this plan that Lindie's made and split it out over 6 months. I'm going to give myself 1 month to learn how to read and write. I'm going to give myself 1 month to learn all of the nouns, 1 month to learn the particles, 1 month to learn conjugations, and then 2 months to be producing, practicing, listening. It's very adaptable. This is not prescriptive. Everyone has different ways that they like to do it, but take this as a basic wireframe framework and see how can I adjust this to my lifestyle, to the time I have, to the resources I enjoy, right? Don't do something that you don't like. Make it fun for yourself. I hope that's been helpful, a little quick 3-month plan. Thank you so much for watching. 見てくれてありがとうございます。And see you in the next video. 次の動画へ会いましょう。Bye! Hey, are you feeling overwhelmed by language learning? Do you feel like you just need a little bit of accountability? I offer language learning coaching sessions. You can book a call with me at superpeer.com/Lindie. Do a 15-minute call if you want to see if I'm the right coach for you, or book a 30-minute call if you want to talk through something. If you're interested in working with me long-term, I do offer discounts on packages of 5 calls or more. If you need somebody to help you through this journey, help you with resources, scheduling, accountability, listen to your problems, help you feel like, are you on the right track or not? I'm your girl. Check out my coaching at superpeer.com/Lindie.